Hey team, let's do this next weekly recap. So this was my week. A couple of winners, break even, two losers, then two emotional trades that are actually unnecessary, and then a good winner with good MFEs in these trades. So let's start with the first one, and this is Euro USD. So this recap will make much more sense if you look the previous recording with the multi-time frame analysis I recorded in the previous weekly recap. But for this trade I was looking to the bearish side, but this was like a really specific reason, even though the market for me is overall bullish. So first of all, we are still in this low quality bearish ranges. Again, look previous week for this. And then what we created in the beginning of the week, so we opened with the gap. So this is the beginning of the week. So we were in a bullish market, and then but opened with the gap. And this is how the market looked on 15-minute. So this is, as you see, open, Monday open, and then just this huge gap which never got filled, and this Asian impulse to the upside, and then just some range before the London opens. Then on London open, I saw this market maker candle or fakey. Again, I hope at the time that you are looking it, I will record it, but so this was a candle that went above the previous one and closed in the range of its neighbor. And this is how it looked on this time frame on 10 minutes. It's possible to use like a counter impulse, or of course it's even better to use it with an impulse. But in this situation, given the fact that we had multiple shifts to the upside on 15 minutes, so we had like 1 2 3 4 5 6 shifts. And as you remember, if you have like 5 6 7, you can have at least some expectation that at least the previous low will be taken out for a reaccumulation. Plus we add to this the gap that is not filled. And what's even more interesting, the price tried to fill the gap but then went up. And so like we can say that the weak side that was expecting the gap to be filled, they got liquidated here. And so at this place it's much better to look for this move than here, okay, because we had even one more shift. And Forex market, it tends to close such gaps. Yeah, and even we can add to this that we are still in that daily structural bearish range. Yes, it's in an overall bullish market, but these are the reasons at least to try to have some short-term bearishness. And again, I was not targeting really low, I was targeting just below this low, and was just targeted to fill at least some part of it. And then I saw this entry trigger, this fakey or market maker candle, that is actually a fractal distribution, of course, fractal structure. And this is how it looked on 1 minute. So entry was happening maybe on 5 or 10 minutes with this small stop. So you see we got up and then started to go down. Entry there, and probably, so really I don't remember where I went break even, but probably this was a break even already. And by the way, this entry you see, it's like before the London Open. Yeah, probably there was a break even. And again, because I was going against the overall bullish context, I was just taking this partial one here after So on this reaccumulation, so right here I took this partial one because I just decided, okay, like maybe it's reaccumulation, or maybe the market is aligning with the overall bull structure, because you see at this point we were hitting this 15-minute impulse and 15-minute clear zone. That's why I took this partial. But even then I like expected that this could be a redistribution, sorry, not reaccumulation, of course. And then the market starts just to range for a bit, and I just thought that maybe if we break this, we will go and try to fill more, and then just took the second partial. So I never waited for a full partial here. But again, this is a really specific entry that I'm not usually entering, but given the situation, the specific situation, I was okay for this entry. US 100, so this entry was much more aligned with the previous analysis. Again, you can look, I was trading this bullish daily range with this big inside structure developing, but mainly what I was trading during previous week is this 4-hour shift of structure, and then on previous week I traded here and then here, and then on this week I continued to trade. So structural range, you can consider this one, this bullish one, and then here how it looked on 15 minutes and 5 minutes and 1 minute for an entry. So we had some bearish price action, went below the zone and snapped back. And here what we have on 1 minute. So this is what we had on 1 minute, this huge bearish impulse. This is New York open time approximately. We had this one shift of structure, but with this one shift we understand that there is quite a lot happening on the terms of inside structure, and we actually are starting to move in aligning with 4 hours, with daily, so it's like a usual confluence entry. We have a clear impulse, not bad, last unmitigated portion of a zone, and then when the price tapped into it, so the entry was when the price went above this candle there, and the price started to range, started to go up, started to range even more, like almost stopped me out. So yeah, this was a pretty nerve-wracking trade, but probably somewhere there, oh yeah, so somewhere here I went break even and I closed everything at 3R. As long as I remember, I closed it accidentally. This meant to be a partial, yeah, but this is what I had. I just closed everything at 3R, and this was my trade. As you see later, the range, so this is 4 hours range, worked out really well, so never reached break even again. So this trade for MFE was a really nice one and a good example of how structure can hold. So this one was more close to the classic entry. So this was my next trade. This is Euro GBP. Just a quick look on monthly is that overall we are like moving up, and specifically we are now situated in this bullish impulse on monthly. This one never broken, so we are looking to go and create new high there. Then on weekly we are bullish as well. So on weekly what we have here is this shift of structure, and then we have one more shift. So I just disregard this week's. I just say that this was first shift, second shift, and we are in this big weekly up impulse, and we are looking overall to take this high. Then on daily we have a market that shifted to the downside, maybe performed some reaccumulation, and then after this started to go up again. So you see we have a lot of confluence on higher time frames, and again this is the time of an entry. We have a really clear shift of structure, really nice zone, a bit weaker, but average quality, it's okay to consider. The problem with this, of course, is this big amount of inside structure, and then when you have something like this, you have this independent structure development, and then these zones, they become less probable to actually hold, like clearly. And now even if the zone will hold and the price will align with high time frame bias, you see the price needed to go actually below this formal zone and mitigate something here, or maybe it will go even to mitigate lower, but that's more of like a future analysis. What we had in the moment of trade, it's this bullish move, and yeah, one more problem with this entry is that it was made with 4 hours bearish structure, and overall 4 hours are not looking that clear. So again, it would be even better to have an entry here, even if a loser, but not after this shift. But then lower time frames, they actually showed some shifts, some breaks, and what we have here is this 15-minute structure developing with a clear unmitigated zone. So this is a refined zone. Price went back into it, and the entry, so you see it's not a perfect situation, but we have some amount of confluence presented to us, and I think this entry was made from, again, this is pretty weird structure on the New York Open. So formally, technically, yeah, we are breaking this this range, so this small bearish range with this impulse, so not the clear structure, and then some inside structures shifting and having the zone. So this was the entry. I protected myself like really deep, and let's see how the trade developed. So just went a bit lower into the zone, and then created this impulse. At this point we have a new structure, so I put my stop loss to 0.5 R, and then the price went even higher, yeah, even higher. And at this point, when we have like really new protected low above the entry, we can go break even, of course, because when the price, like now in this example, the price have the space even to perform some reaccumulation and not hitting our stop loss. Another option would be, of course, to just put your stop loss like really tight here, or maybe just here below the last unmitigated portion, but for me it was a break even. And yeah, price went even higher, but then everything took me out at break even. Yeah, at this point I think we just go down. Yeah, so let me quickly check. Oh yeah, we went even higher, but then just went down during the next day. And as you can see, interesting part about this is that we actually held this 1 hour structure. So of course I realized that what we have here is sorry, a 4 hour structure. So we have this move, this bigger zone, we are mitigating it, and this is like the usual problem with the entries, that with the early entries. Yeah, so compare so you will compare my next entry with the gold, the one that was a winner. So it was if we imagine it was happening somewhere here, so already the market created bullish structure, and yeah, but that's okay, that's really okay. If you keep the risk fine, you can have really nice trades based off these early trends. And now let's go to the next trade. So this is gold. I will attach the trading view review that I did approximately at this time, where I go a bit into detail while I consider this market bullish. But here, just to save both of us time, let's just say that we have this overall historical bullish structure, okay? And what the market did recently, what's interesting, as you can see here, you probably can see that this is a reaccumulation pattern based on this bullish range. So we had this bullish range, and the market, what it did, it just went a bit above and then snapped back on this weekly chart. And this is how it looked on daily. So on daily, we are just starting to build bullish structure. Let me check 3 days. Yeah, and what's interesting, we have these 3 days impulse, and on daily I was looking at this zone. So you see, of course, at this zone previously, but the market went a bit lower to mitigate the 3 days zone. But overall, the market is bullish based on this price action. And during previous week, I was even looking, and it will be illustrated and talked through on the previous video. I was looking for the price to shift above this structure and then to look for longs, but it never did it. It went a bit lower and then started its shifts of structure. So when the market started to do this, I realized that we are probably going to clear this 3-day high, okay? And of course, and this is the difference I mentioned from Euro GBP. So on Euro GBP, I try to enter somewhere here, and you see, if you have an entry here, you can have like really easy target reached. But even when the market is in the middle of the range, and if you have the overall context, you can have good trades. And what I did here, I saw the really bullish market. I went to 2 hours. I saw that, I realized that it is really bullish, but then I also started to think that, okay, maybe it's a bit overextended based on 15-minute structure. As you can see, we have a lot of consecutive shifts, and that's why I tried, and we had this shift to the downside. Yeah, and probably we can consider it as a technical mistake, but it was what it was. I just realized that we are still in this bullish structure, but we have a lot, we have some reasons to go lower. And what I did is I looked at this 15-minute structure, 15-minute trend that is mitigated the zone, and I just tried to short it, not at the best time. So this is how it looked on 1 minute. So you see, we had some internal shifts on 1 minute. I just tried to short it. This one was still like the last possible mitigation of this 15-minute range, but it never worked. And then I had like 2 these unnecessary trades. We just call them emotional, but again, I'm okay with it. This journal is not perfect, but this is why I like it, because like it's a real journal, and what you can see is that even when you have this streak of losers, and again, if I was like really strictly following the rules and so on, I would never even have them. Yeah, but it is what it is, and it happens. It happens even if you're like real great, which I am not, of course. I'm still working towards it, but I mean, at least it's real. And then at this point, I decided, okay, like shorts are not working. We mitigated the 2 hours range. So what I was looking at is this mitigation of this zone. We mitigated it. I had losers during lunchtime. Now we are approaching the New York Open, and what we have here is some shitty 15-minute structure that we are starting to break. Of course, I didn't like too much this a bit overextended price action, but I just realized that weak side is just looking to short this, okay, and it's just full of liquidity here, and we have really logical targets to hit, and I know from gold that sometimes if it makes a decision to go, it can do it quickly. So what I did there is just decided, okay, we have a market that was bearish on 1 minute, then became bullish, then started this like rangy price action. I was actually expecting it to go a bit lower for reaccumulation, but I thought, okay, we are just below these highs, we have some zones above, let me just enter this loan. And yeah, this is what the market did. At this point I went break even, and then my target was at 7R. It stopped like right near the 7R, but I decided okay, we have some zones, we are really near. And by the way, from here it could easily got me out at break even, and yeah, I needed to wait for another shift of structure. So this was my full take profit, and that's all. It covered these losers, and then market just started to break up like crazy, okay. It cleared up everything. So let's just follow it a bit and see this, yeah, really crazy and beautiful at the same time movement. So you see, this is what you get if you are following the structure. So you see a lot of possibilities, entry here, entry here. I'm not sure if we will hold this one, I don't remember. So we didn't hold this one. So this was the time where the market performed reaccumulation. So push up, reaccumulation, and then just go and go and go. So yeah, again, starting to build some structure and just go from there. Okay, so really crazy market, and a good entry that actually went all the way, I don't know to how much. Let's just see. You see, I just want to be a bit with this trade, yeah, because it was great to see it. Oh, actually this trade ran like to 17 or 18R. And of course I will use these numbers in the journal to analyze soon and think maybe I want to change management just a little bit based on my recent numbers. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please feel free to write me, to ask questions. Yeah, and analyze your own journal like I do now. Think about your trades. Start to notice your patterns. You see, so I have this pattern all over the place, and I'm trying to minimize it, like going against some impulses, having sometimes these emotional trades. But it happens. It goes from my past. My past like was much worse, and you don't need to close from the things. You need to work on them, you need to see them. Yeah, and we'll be glad to hear from you. Bye.